Okay, we are live now. So thank you, Annette, for letting us know because we like to goof around here in the back. Okay, so I want to introduce to you guys. First of all, tell us where you're from. Everyone that's logging on, please do tell us where you're from. We'd love to know. But this is so special for me because
just waiting to do a live on Facebook. Sorry.
Yes, we're just waiting for. I keep getting tricked here because I have to redo my intro. Oh, look at all the people coming in. Atlanta, Dallas, Orlando, San Antonio. Guys, this is awesome. Okay, so we're live now. Yep, come on, Marcus. 4, 3, 2, 1, live now. As you can see, we love to have fun. And these guys are my favorite guys to be around because I learned so much from them. Welcome, everybody. Welcome from Tulsa, from Austin, from Grand Blanc, from Colombia. My God, this is so amazing, you guys. So without any further delay, I want to introduce to you guys Logan and Marcus. And Marcus is my coach from StreetText. I love these guys. I truly do. I'm so grateful for them because I know my business has gone from 0 to now, 10 administrative assistants, 4 buyer's agents. I mean, this is the company that really gave me that freedom to do what I'm doing today. And I appreciate and I love you guys. Thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful for today. We're gonna be talking about the new Facebook algorithm, seller leads. I know all of us are looking for seller leads, you guys, because there's so much shortage of inventory. So let's dive right into it. Logan and Marcus, welcome, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Well, we got somebody all the way from Athens, Greece, you guys. Wow, this is amazing. Welcome, Steve. Thank you for joining us.
I'm going to default to Logan today because I usually steal the limelight from him. And he deserves to talk about this because he's our algorithm guru. So go for it. Tell us what's changing with Facebook, Logan.
So as with any point in history in Facebook, there are changes to the algorithm. The algorithm's never going to stop changing. I'll say that. We've kind of discovered right from the inception of StreetText, some little things that Facebook was starting to do that we kind of picked up on. They started to change things. And luckily, again, given the fact that at that time we were spending a couple $1 million a year on ads, you're able to start to pick up on trends. Well, fast forward till now, we now as an organization are spending, $10 to $15 million, whatever it is a year on ads. So we can really look at the big data, the big numbers and notice trends. And one of the things that's currently happening right now is there's I would say a slight downturn in volume on leads for a lot of sellers, a lot of people as the algorithm is shifting and changing, but just know Facebook's learning right now. And if you think of how Facebook operates and consider this for a second, how does Facebook make money? Do you yourself pay for a personal account on Facebook? No. Right. How is it then that they're such a profitable company? Well, it's ad revenue. So while a lot of people out there are doom and gloom, oh, okay, well, Facebook's changing this. How are they going to track people with, the privacy policy and this, that, and the other thing? Well, understand that they are one of the biggest, smartest tech companies out there, and they are figuring this out as they go. I mean, it's a little bit of an interesting thing that we've been met with, given that, and I'm sure you guys have all heard, by now, the iOS 14 update, which, Android is also going to be taking, effect with. A lot of that tracking information, third-party pixels, all that kind of stuff, or cookie store, I should say, it's not going to work the same way as it once did. So what that really leads me to, and I can't stress this enough, is one of the things that we started doing way back when, which is split testing. Split testing will never be more appropriate or effective or necessary as it is right now. And the reason for that is because, again, companies like ours, we can still close the loop. Right? So you're good there. When John Smith clicks on your Facebook ad, what happens with that? Well, right now, Facebook can see, okay, John Smith clicked. People like John Smith should also click on these ads. Great. But they don't see where John Smith ended up. Did he convert? Yes, he clicked, but did he convert? Right? Did he become a lead? So StreetText, now when you register your own private domain, and I'll let Marcus talk about all that in a few moments here, but when you register your own private domain with us now, we can back that knowledge, that data back to Facebook to let them know, yes, this was a converted lead. John Smith not only clicked, he was an appropriate lead for what we're trying to find. Great, that knowledge gets passed on to Facebook. That's wonderful. The problem is companies not like ours that don't have the ability to feed back. Facebook's lost the ability to learn what those people are clicking on. So really what they're doing now is they're looking at what's called cohort data. It's a big portion of this. Instead of looking at individualized data, it's all cohort data. So they're grouping people together. They can no longer look at John Smith individually. They look at people like John Smith. So again, the information itself has become a little bit more watered down, and it's not quite like it was back in the days of traffic ads where you're seeing everybody, but your ads now are being delivered to a wider audience, a less exclusive audience, and less likely to hit the right people at the right time. And what I mean by that is if I'm trying to advertise, say, to realtors, if I start using lingo like median home value as opposed to average home sale price, most realtors will be able to understand the difference. You know that there's a difference between average home sale and median home sale. However, if I'm putting that same ad out there to people who maybe aren't realtors, they're not going to know what those two differences are. So it's not going to be effective for them any longer. So really, when you look at this, you have to understand the importance of your ad's image. The importance of your ad's copy has, again, along with the split testing, never been more important, because you're now not being served always to the best audience based on what Facebook's already learned of the individual. You're being served to a larger audience that may not necessarily be looking for your content. So you do need to make sure, again, there's no vague ads. Vague ads don't work anymore. You need to be very concise. You need to be able to explain things. You need to have a clear call to action. You need to have appropriate imagery, and you need to have continuity, between the what your offer is and the image you're using. And then again, more specifically, the landing page that they go to. All this stuff is so incredibly important, and it's becoming more so important than ever before. So the biggest thing I want everybody to take from this is to understand a couple things. First, split test, split test, split test, split test. You need to find the right audience. You also, again, you need to have the right imagery, you need to have a concise image, you need to have all that stuff. You need to have your own way of tracking everything now. Because if you're using, let's say, Facebook lead forms, Facebook is able to, again, categorize those individuals, but you're not able to see the actual true cost per result. Whereas again, a company like StreetText, we can see how much you've spent. We can see the leads that have actually become leads. We can see the people who've left you emails, and then we can give you the itemized, the line items, if you will, of this is how much you're paying per the result you're getting. But also, more importantly, you can see which ads that you're running are bringing in which leads, because again, all this tracking has never been more important than it is today. So if you're not using a company that has these abilities, reevaluate what you're doing. And I'm not saying you definitely need to come to StreetText, but you need a company that is able to backfeed that knowledge back to Facebook and then easily highlight and show you absolutely everything that's happening.
And I totally agree with you, Logan. First, it's about split tests. Second, it's about the tools and the techniques that StreetText offers. And of course, your coaches that you have. And my coach right here is Marcus. And, he really is out there for me, especially in the beginning to the end. And I could go on to that, but that's not what this is about. It's of course about the algorithms and the seller leads. Talk to us a little bit about that, Logan, the seller lead part of StreetText. But before I do that, Neil has a question. With so many realtors doing what your value of home Facebook ad, how can your company make ads stand out to actually getting the leads? Can I just say I'm the testimonial right here? What kind of ads we put out there, Neil, I cannot tell you more. I cannot say it enough times that every ad is different. There's so many different ads out there that StreetText has built out. All you do is click and go. I mean, it's that simple. But I'll let Logan and Marcus take it away.
Yeah, I'll just quickly talk to that, and then I'll defer to Marcus for the rest of it. But again, when you're attracting seller leads, you need to understand what works, and you need to understand, most importantly, who is your audience? Who are you trying to attract? And it starts with the image. Image is everything. The copy is very, very important. But if your image isn't appropriate, they're not going to read your ad copy. When was the last time you went on your Facebook newsfeed and you scrolled copy? Are you scrolling and looking at ad copy? No, you're looking at the images. That's what stops you. You need to stop that scroll. So if you're using an image of, and I've said this a bajillion times, but I'll say it again, if you're using an image of a single home and you're not advertising that home, you're doing yourself a disservice. That's one of the first mistakes I see made all the time. People come through and say, well, I've been doing this forever. I'm using these images, whatever. And all I seem to attract is other realtors. Weird that other, an image of a home is attracting real estate agents, right? That's not uncommon at all. That's very, very, very well known. But what we typically start with is one of the most boring images you will ever see. And the reason for it is that it doesn't look like an ad. The second your ad looks like an ad, hey, there's that ad and I'm gone, right? So we like, sure, it's boring imagery and it's a simple map image of your area. That's our default. That's what tends to work. However, as with any ad, it will tire out in a particular area because now it looks like an ad. Hey, there's that ad again. I've seen that map image and I've associated that imagery with an ad, right? So now that won't work for me. So what you want to do next is start using imagery that hasn't been used, that isn't tired. I typically recommend an aerial view similar to a map, but something that you've shot yourself or something that you can get that isn't already out there. And you will definitely find a significant increase in specifically seller leads simply by making sure the image that you're using is appropriate for the kind of person you're trying to attract. But more importantly, the landing page you are sending people to needs to have consistent and congruent imagery, because this is, again, I see this countless times. People have a great ad that's getting a ton of engagement, likes, clicks, shares, comments, clicks, everything, but they're not converting leads. They're not getting there because people are clicking on the ad, being removed from Facebook, getting to a landing page that doesn't line up, and they're going, well, what is this? So your imagery needs to be consistent, and that's a big portion where I think people miss the goal. Marcus, is there anything you wanted to add in terms of kind of our seller leads or any advice you can give people in terms of the imagery or anything like that?
I mean, you said it all. Okay. I'm going to share the screen because I think most people like myself are visual, and they want to see what we're even talking about here. And the truth is, like, when the whole oops, let me stop this share. I don't need to share the whole screen. Stop share, and I'm gonna share it again with the Google Chrome. Okay, so when people say, like, well, isn't that what's your home worth or valued out, outdone? Everybody does it, but the truth is, it's because how it works. The truth is, it works if you know how to test the audience and when to make decisions within a 24-hour period. So a lot of people don't recognize the lingo like split testing, Logan. They don't recognize the lingo in A/B test. They don't know the difference between the two. And I think, honestly, unless you're a marketer, a lot of people trying to do stuff like this themselves are going to get really aggravated because they don't even know where to begin. Do they start with a page post ad? Do they start with a traffic post? Do they, what does that even mean? Do they boost something? What's a landing page or squeeze pages? And then how do I get the right ad copy and image so that it works? So I think a big part of that too is recognizing anybody can get an ad that clicks, but can you get that click to produce information? Is there congruency between the experience for that person? Or are you trying to capture all their information up front and this is why you're losing, right? What's the difference between a Facebook lead ad versus this type of funnel? And why is it important for people to know that with this Apple iOS update, it's going to affect specifically the conversion objective? But for some people, they don't even know what a conversion objective is.
All right.
So they're like, well, what? I don't care. I don't even run these ads. Well, if you're running seller leads on Facebook or trying to get seller leads on Facebook, you need to know what it is, because it's, you're going to spend 3 to 4 times more per lead if you're actually taking a page post or a traffic post to a conversion style of ad. But even if you have a good conversion ad, if you're not capturing the information correctly, you're still paying a lot for that lead.
Right.
Right. So, like, everybody wants to reinvent the wheel, but at the end of the day, the reason why we, I think, are kind of separating ourselves from a lot of other people is if you look at our stats, we can tell you, because we've done all this, we've all done all the research for you. Like, we can go into our conversion pixel right now and compare it to, you know, like for example, we almost had 30,000 people this last month alone that have tested this funnel to give you results that we know and can say, out of these 30,000 people, on average, 60% of the click became a lead.
So we do have a couple of questions here, Marcus and Logan, which I'm going to ask right now. But just to let everyone know right here is that if you don't already use StreetText, start. Obviously now there is, we always did have this, right, Marcus? I mean, they always did a free 7-day trial, right?
Yeah.
Right here. Just try it out, you guys, and you'll get to know them a little bit more better. But let's talk about the questions that you guys have right now. Brooke asked, curious, is the conversion objective the category most negatively affected by the algorithm change?
That's essentially the only category of note that will be affected, because really when you think of what the other two objectives do, and really the only other one people use is traffic. And really what traffic does is, in a sense, it pulls your pixel, it pulls the algorithm out of the equation to a point, and it's really saying, we don't care who converts, we want traffic. So when you're doing things like, perhaps if you're running more engagement or less engagement posts and more information dissemination, like retargeting campaigns, now I don't necessarily want to get it just in front of the right people. I want everybody to see this, you know. So if you're doing something that, you know, you're advertising maybe an open house, traffic ads could be great for that, because you're not necessarily relying on the lead conversion. You're not worried about lead generation. You're worried about getting more people to that property at that date and time. So I want more people to see it. So that's one of the reasons I'd use a traffic ad. Whereas with anything else, when I'm trying to attract leads, I'm trying to generate specifically seller leads, you need to use the conversion objectives. Now, to answer Brooke's question, absolutely, that is the item that will be most impacted with all of this, which is again why and to kind of answer Andrea's question at the same time, what are we doing considering changes Apple has made? Right. That's the iOS 14 update. And again, it's not only going to be Apple, it's going to be all mobile, right? Because, you know, Apple, sure, they're the first, but Android is definitely coming out with something very similar where, and for anybody who's unfamiliar, what it's going to do is essentially when you register your new device and try to log into Facebook, you're going to get a pop-up that basically says, do you wish to have all your information tracked so we can deliver you better ads, yes or no? Our anticipation is at minimum 50% of people are going to say no, probably more. And that's fine, you know, so that's, you know, unfortunately, we would also say that probably 90% of all lead traffic is coming through mobile right now. So will that be, you know, impacted? Absolutely. Right. Absolutely, it will. But what we're doing on our side is a lot of what we always did to find relevancy. We haven't had to change a whole lot in order to help you guys deliver and find good ads. But we're also doing our part again by backfeeding the third-party data, and that can't be, you know, overstated. That's something that's so incredibly important, is having that backfeed channel to let Facebook know who they're doing or how they're doing with who and how it's all working.
Sorry, Logan. I'm just wanting to answer these two questions before you jump right back in. Licia, if I said your name wrong, I apologize. But she says, I heard by a reputable source that it takes quite a while and money to attract seller leads on Facebook. Is that correct? Oh, I can answer that.
Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead, and then I'll take it. I'll have something to say, and I'm sure Marcus has something to say on that too.
It's all about how you do it. It's all about you and your conversions, and you know, it all depends on which company you're with, right? With StreetText, you get a lot of leads, and you just need to know how to build that relationship. Am I correct, you guys?
100%. What I'll say is it certainly can, but it shouldn't. Right. And so one thing that we try to convince all our clients is the initial testing phase is a sprint, not a marathon. And what I mean by that is you're doing short runs to find relevancy. And I do a lot of shopping myself where I'll go to some other companies and I pretend I know nothing at all and I'm just an agent and, you know, teach me. And you know, one of the things that I hear that goes against what I know quite commonly is, you know what, your ad's no good right now, but it's fine. Give it another week. It'll get better.
Exactly.
Right? That's when you waste money. And if you're in that mindset where you're thinking, okay, well, my ad sucks this week, or it started off poor, but I've heard Facebook ads are okay, so I'm going to let this thing roll. It will be more expensive. It's going to be, ridiculously expensive because you're going to run a test for a week that's going nowhere, and you're going to waste 60 to 75 bucks on it. No problem.
Exactly.
Completely unnecessary.
Exactly. And the beauty of being with StreetText is that when something doesn't work, there's always someone there to help you, whether it's the chat or whether it's your coach. I always default people to going to their coaches or posting it in our insider group. So there's lots of different ways. Anne has a question for you guys. When you talk landing page, are you suggesting creating one or using the page on our website that they end up on when clicking through? What are your thoughts on which is better?
Marcus, you want to take that one?
Well, I mean, again, where do you want to spend your time building all this stuff? Like, you can go build your landing pages and try it all yourself, or you can just have something that's proven, tested, that's going to give you results. So let me give you an example. Someone also asked, how do you prove in 7 days if this works? Well, I can prove in 24 hours if it works.
Yes, I agree with Marcus.
Right. And so I think at the end of the day, it's we have a community where we all talk about rallying around. This is our StreetText Insider group, but a big part of that is we can go right now into an ad section and figure out if the ad is working or not. So for example, here's Aisa in Las Vegas, a very competitive market. Very competitive, if not one of the most competitive markets in all of North America. And so we're running a 3-ad split test. Okay, and for anybody is trying to figure out what a split test is, it's literally running 3 of the same identical ads. So we're going to be running 3 of the ads that say, what's your home really worth? The image itself is a satellite image of Las Vegas and surrounding areas, because what's happening here is you are not just targeting Las Vegas, you're targeting Las Vegas plus 15 miles north, south, east, and west. So it's actually important to acknowledge a zip code or address that comes to mind in your thoughts of where am I willing to drive north, south, east, and west from? And then with that being said, you design that ad image with that targeting in mind. And you actually zoom out just a little bit more just in case, because here's the thing, you want a blue house in here? Go for it. But what about those people that don't like blue houses? And what about those realtors that are gonna click on your ad, just like Logan was saying? Why we run a map? Because it's so familiar. It's so not the typical marketing for a real estate agent, which is what causes the pause on that person's feed. If I go to my Facebook newsfeed right now, and it's important not to wear your real estate hat all the time. Sometimes you just gotta say, what is it gonna be like if I was a homeowner or just a random person scrolling on Facebook at the time? And if you go into your feed and just click on your Facebook icon, and I challenge everybody to do that if you're near your phone, just start scrolling randomly through your feed. You're never there, but just to waste time or just to, have fun. Most of us kind of quickly go to our Facebook Messenger. If we have any messages, we'll go to our notifications and we'll just start scrolling. So this is where these ads are disguised.
Right.
And so when you click on it, right, like that person's like, ooh, what's my home really worth? Oh, I just got to enter my address, easy. And so I love the integrity of the ask too. It's not saying, give me all your information. It's saying, enter your address to receive your home value. And I think a big part of that is that moment that person clicks on the ad and they see that the first thing that we're asking for is indeed entering their address to receive their home value. And it's not taking them into some sort of separate landing pages. This is designed scientifically for you to get the most amount of information. So go ahead and try to build all your own squeeze pages, and landing pages and figure it out for yourself. But I guarantee you it's going to be a headache. And then you're going to have to start to figure out, well, okay, maybe I can get one lead, but how often will I be able to do this predictably? Can I enter into a model where, just like Aisa here in Las Vegas, I can already see in these 3 ads, I've got similar cost per clicks, and it's not even spent, a day and a half of data on this. She's got a $12 daily spend, and she's already seeing 11 out of 17 of her clicks become leads here. 3 out of 14. So I can already see here that this one's probably going to be turned off. And then 12 out of 18. So I probably would say ads 1 and 3 of that split test are the ones that I continue with, but not so fast. Every one of these ads is going to show me the leads that I'm seeing from that. And really, I'm going to start going in there and starting to see where Facebook is picking up on the algorithm. in Las Vegas, because obviously if I'm seeing this phone number come in and then this phone number come in, and I can go in there and see, well, where in that 15 miles is it coming from? Ooh, this is the home that's, oh, look at this. This person, 45 years, upgraded, 4-bedroom, solar panels, tile floor remodeled, fireplace, marble, gigantic backyard, mature trees, oversized patio, new shingle roof. Like, that is what I want from people. If I can get people to give me their phone number, tell me all about their home, I have, you know, that's pride right there. They want to tell you about it. That's the type of lead you want. And then you want to reinforce that to Facebook too. You want to say, Facebook, I want more like these people. So that's the point of the split test. And so, you know, trust me when I say you can go try to figure this out on your own, or you can just have these set up this way, make decisions in 24 hours, pick your best ad and have fun converting your leads.
And it's time, it's leveraging yourself, right? Instead of going into detail of how to create these and what to do and when to do and all these different things. It's just the leverage piece, which I love. All you do is click and go and you know, put a few things here and there, and just less than 5 minutes, my ads are running. There's quite a few questions that have come for you guys. So let me just go ahead and run by those. And by the way, if you do have to leave, this is recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel for Lap Good Agents. Wanted to do that right there. Okay, so can I direct valuation to my HomeBot account for valuation? Yes.
I'll take that one first. Yes, you absolutely can. It's not necessarily what I would suggest. Now, take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt, because the smartest thing you can do is to get the right answer for you is don't rely on one person's information, because, you know, what I would do might not be what Marcus would do or Janky would do or what you would want to do. But for me, I look at every new lead that comes in as a puppy. Right. And my job is to train that puppy to be a dog that I'm proud of. And if you're constantly, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, encouraging bad behavior and rewarding bad behavior, what's going to happen? You're going to have a dog that chews your slippers and expects a pet on the head. And what I mean by that, again, to put this all into context, I know it's a little silly, but to put this into context of real estate is if I'm constantly delivering value and not making them do what I want. You know, if they don't have to talk to me ever, and I'm constantly delivering a high level of value, what's the expectation? I've set this expectation that they can always get from me and never give back. So I want to build reciprocation right from the onset. That to me is the most important thing. So I want to wow them with HomeBot. I want to explain to them what they're going to get. And so what I would use is a bomb video at the very front end of my automation, so that the second they come through my funnel, they see a bomb video that says something to the nature of, you know, here's who I am, this is me. What most of my clients are looking for is not only today's value, but to know their home's value on an ongoing basis, as you might not be ready to sell your home today, and you may be, you know, a little way down the road. So what I would like to do is not only help you establish a baseline, I would love to be able to provide you information on an ongoing basis. In order to do that, what I actually have for you is this. You can reference HomeBot or whatever you want, but I have this free service I can add you into that will not only let you know today's value, it'll do this and this and this. Pick your 3 or 4 favorite HomeBot features, and then rely on them to reply to your email. Start the conversation. They respond to you. Yeah, go ahead, Janky.
I want to cut you off right there and tell you that it also mentioned that it not only HomeBot with bomb videos, which, you know, even if you don't do that and you're one of those that don't want to do videos, I zap all our leads into my CRM, and our ISAs then try to dial them out. And that works too, right? It's there's so many different ways you can take these leads and curate them, and you can actually work on, you know, building that relationship up with these leads. I'm speaking from experience again. I don't get paid. You know, there was a question that was out there, Marcus. Does Janky get paid for saying these things? Janky doesn't get paid for saying this. I am actually talking from experience, right? And this is so true what Logan just said. You can do HomeBot, you can do bomb. You can also just zap those leads out to your CRM and use a different portal altogether if you wanted to. You put them out in your CRM and, you know, do all the smart plans, the drips, and all those different things right there, right? So many different ways.
Yes. Let me just show you how fast you can build a split test and launch it, because Janky wants me to launch new ads for her. Yes. So let's show you how it's done. So you could go figure it out yourself, or you could have the ability to literally go do something like this. I'll show you. So I'm going to go take her down to my best performing funnel right now. It's this one right here. It's got a 64% click to contact ratio. 7,544 people have developed that ratio. Okay. So all that means, if you're going to get a low CPC, you're going to get leads, and you know, it's going to come in pretty hot and fast. Like in some markets, like I've seen a quarter cost per click or 10 cents cost per click in some markets out there. I'm not going to say which ones. You have to test it for yourself. But
right,
Janky's in a you know, a high end market. You know, Bay Area represent Janky. I'm from Los Gatos, California. So literally all I do is click select. I'm putting in an image that I know works. It's a satellite image of Fremont and surrounding areas. So super easy. I'm just uploading that in.
right.
Clicking next. I'm dropping the pin, which is the targeting portion of our funnel, with the zip code that she just provided me in Fremont. So that means that, as we can acknowledge here, if you look at the zip code plus 15 miles, it obviously goes in down to Palo Alto, Mountain View, Pleasanton, all these areas surrounding. So you gotta, this can be moved anywhere I wanna go. I can move this circle anywhere I wanna go, but you gotta acknowledge that. That's why you build the ad image with that in mind. It's inclusive to everybody. It's not discriminating. I click done, I lock into this latitude, latitude. All right, so here's where the rubber hits the road. I can launch up to 5 of these at the same time. And I can put my ad budget anywhere I want to go. Janky, what do we want me to start this ad at budget at?
Let's start at 12.
Okay, 12 it is. We'll do a 3 ad split test, right? And this, what's your estimated commission on a home out there?
25,000.
All right, 25,000 it is. Okay.
And real quick, before you deploy that, I just wanted to show, you can go Facebook, you can do Instagram, you could do both. Right now, given the audience networks where they are, if you're looking for sellers, my recommendation is spend your money on Facebook. Now, if you check both of these boxes on our system, it won't split your budget per se. It'll spend wherever it's being spent, of course. But when you look at the average age demographics, Instagram is a much, much, much younger audience. So I wouldn't waste money looking for sellers there. First-time buyers, if you're doing a first-time buyer's ad or you're running a first-time buyer seminar and you want to advertise it, absolutely Instagram. But for now, for sellers specifically, I would suggest Facebook.
And there are a couple of questions here regarding this. It says, what is the difference between the 3 ads? Marcus, if you can kind of talk about that. And then Neil asked a question. After they input their address, what are the other questions on the squeeze page?
Yes, we'll go through both. Okay. Well, let me just show you really quickly. When I click next, and I'm gonna launch 3 identical ads, right? And I deploy. What's the difference? Absolutely nothing, except for one thing and one thing only: who Facebook is going to randomly sample within that 15 miles. 3 separate audiences. And we actually have a slide that kind of defines that here. Hey, why don't you talk about this, Logan? What's going on when these 3 identical ads are being sent out there to Facebook?
Yeah, and we can take this back to kind of the beginning with the iOS 14 update and everything, and kind of how I mentioned early on that the 3 ad split test has never been more important than it is now. And that's again because the audience you first find is the audience that not only tells Facebook how much money to charge you for this ad moving forward, it's actually, setting your audience demo now as well. So what's going to happen every single time you launch an ad on Facebook? Facebook's going to rely on 500 random individuals. And I don't care how big your targeted area is. You can be targeting 50 miles, 15 miles. You can be doing whatever you want. Doesn't matter. It's always the first 500 people that view any ad. So what's different is absolutely nothing except for the test audience Facebook curates to show this ad to. So you're doing 3 identical ads, all in the exact same area, all with the same image, the ad copy, everything. But a different group of 500 is deciding the fates on each of these 3 ads. And this is coming back to, again, where we say, don't run an ad for a week and hope for the best. 24 hours is plenty of time to reach your first 500. And Facebook then, what they're going to do is they categorize every single person who's seen your ad, not necessarily clicked yet. If it came across their timeline, their news feed, they're part of this cohort, this group of individuals. So as soon as anybody has liked, clicked, shared, commented, well, they're put into the good box. We like the good box. Anybody who just scans past it, they're neutral. They have no effect in a sense. Other people who mark it as spam, put an angry face, comment something negative. And trust me, Facebook can tell the difference between a positive and a negative comment. So if they're commenting negative, well, they're put in the negative box. The first thing Facebook then does with that information is they look at the ratios. What were the ratios of the good compared to the negative or neutral? If there's more positive engagement, Facebook says, hey, this is a good ad with good engagement. We don't need to charge, say, Jenki, as much money per click, because we know we're going to reach that $12 a day based on the number of clicks we get. And that's going to, it's highly engaging. Whereas if the opposite happens and Facebook doesn't see the same positive level of engagement right away from your first 500, they say, well, it's going to take we're not going to get as many clicks. So we need to maximize the cost per click so that we reach that $12 still. Right? So that's the first thing that happens. So 3 ads will always perform differently. They could be close, but I've seen it where they're not even remotely close, right? It happens all the time. I'm sure Marcus and Jenki, you guys can attest to that as well. So that's the first thing that happens. Now, the second thing that I think is even more important, especially right now, based on really what we're talking about, is your audience demographic. Each of these 3 identical ads will now long-term be looking for a different audience based on the first 500 people and how they happen to react to this ad, right? So, in the past, it was pre-August 2019 was when the special housing ad category first came into play. You used to be able to, in fact, you had to preset that demographic. I'm looking for this kind of individual who's this old, who makes this much money, all those things. Now, you can't do any of that anymore. However, most of that data still does exist within Facebook. You just need to know how to unlock it. Make this work for you, right? So again, nothing different with the ads at all. No need to run them long-term. One day, short sprints, find the winner. Now it becomes a marathon. Now you get the one winner, and your job is to leave that thing running as long as humanly possible until it begins to suffer, at which time you should be ready to replace. And again, we have all sorts of different metrics and abilities to show you, hey, this ad is starting to tire. Your coach will be able to recommend what's next.
Exactly. Just like my coach just did.
I just did. And I literally just did. I just turned off a few of your ads, Jenki.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, you're so focused on converting your leads, you forget about turning off the leads that are not, or the ads are not working. But I will tell you, there's a question like, what are they seeing? Here's one thing that you should know. Every time you post an ad, you're going to want to get in the habit of viewing your ad and then acknowledging that you're going to start getting social proof. Especially when, like Jenki, who leaves it on for thousands of dollars, it develops. And so you're going to have people that like it and love it. And, when you scroll your mouse over it, you can see Robert, Arnold, Janine, James, Jem, Ohm, Arvin, George, Jack. All these people are opportunities to connect with on Facebook personally, right? You get a guy like this who, puts in billions and billions, with a little GIF. That's a perfect opportunity to also message this guy personally and continue the conversation with your own GIF and have fun with it, because social proof is what Facebook likes, and it'll continue the ad's relevancy. And also the last thing I would say is sharing your ad into your own private Facebook with a little bit of text context, something like, hey, everybody, just wanted to say I'm offering a complimentary home value service. All you got to do is submit your information below, and I'll be personally in touch with you to get you that home value, right? Because the key is, you can even say, P.S. I'll even bring over your favorite cup of coffee for the walkthrough, right? The thing is, you're paying Facebook for the sponsored element, but why not bring some organic relevancy back too into your personal sphere? Share it into groups that you're a part of. Facebook's not going to charge you for that click, but you're going to get double, triple lead flow because you're using something like that. So
that's awesome, Marcus. That I love that. I'd see there's something I just learned, like share your ad in other groups and say something that's simple. Thank you.
With context. You don't just share it. You don't just share it. Share it with some context, just like you should know at this point, when you share something, you always have the ability to write something on top of that share. Absolutely. That's where the context happens.
One other thing, just real quick on that, Marcus, sorry to cut you off, but there's something just before we change the screen. I wanted to say that a lot of people probably already are aware of this, but something that a lot of people don't know when I tell them this is that there's a difference between the different kind of emojis you can set on Facebook. Facebook likes, obviously, but when you can use an image or an ad copy that gets the care emoji now, or the heart emoji, or any of those other ones, like from, you can click on the like button and you get that big stream, they're actually ranked. So if you get a care or a heart as opposed to the like, it actually ranks further. The more cares and hearts you get, they're better than normal likes. So if your content is enough to evoke that emotion on people, or within people, I guess I should say, that definitely helps. The other thing that is ranked very highly is not only your engagement in the comment section, but other people. So if you can get people talking to one another, that is Facebook's final end goal. That's really what they're trying to do, is drive up engagement. And if you're responding to leads, I mean, that needs to happen. I'm sure we all, at this point, we don't need to talk about that. You need to be responding to your comments, obviously. But if you have the ability to kind of spur on other people conversing within your thread, that ad itself will blow up in Facebook's eyes. And they encourage that, and they in fact incentivize that, because as soon as you get that organic kind of engagement on your ads, what you'll find is your cost per click will start to come down. Facebook wants that to be seen more, because that's in the end what they're looking for. And again, they can see if the comment section is turned into, vitriol, so to speak, or if it's nasty. And so a lot of people say, okay, well, people talking to each other is great. Oh, I'm going to get them fighting on my thread. No, because Facebook sees negative comments and they'll punish you for that.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Positive engagement.
Exactly. Couple of questions coming in, and guys, we're trying to get to all your questions as fast as we can. There's another one from Andrea saying, what's the conversion rate of the actual leads? Doesn't it depend on you?
Yeah. Talk to me about your actual follow-up, please.
Yeah, exactly. Right? It's about follow-up. It's about building relations. And we've got some great professors teaching this inside the StreetText Insider group. One of my biggest person that I look up to is Jennifer Salter. She's a great friend of mine, and she's got an amazing course as well. So, conversion rate of the actual leads, it depends how you do it, right? Another one from Linda. I am already with StreetText. Question: the ad I am getting the most hits on are non-responsive. I really would like to get to know more hit from the area I'm in. Question: should I spend more money on that, even though it's not getting me the most bang for my buck? Talk to your coach, I would say, right?
I'll answer that one. Definitely. I mean, it's a case-by-case basis, of course. It's kind of hard to give a blanket statement. Other than I would say, when I'm getting referrals, I'm driving to the referral with a smile on my face, whistling show tunes. I don't care where it is. I'm happy. These aren't referrals. These are generated leads you're paying for. So the most important thing is to get the leads in the area and the kind of people that you want. So, I get that all the time when people will say, well, that's a really hot area over there. I know I'm going to get a lot of leads, but I don't want those leads. I want leads here. Let's do both to a point. You might want to start expanding your radius a little bit to incorporate a little bit of the lower end area, as long as you're okay with some of those leads, to kind of allow you more cost effectiveness, I guess I would say, to stay in the space. But really what it comes down to is find the area you want. That's what you want. That's what you're paying for. Why pay for something you don't want? And I look at the difference between cost effective, inexpensive leads and cheap leads. I don't want cheap leads. Cheap leads are inexpensive leads that I don't want. We don't want those. I want leads that are in the area that I want. And if you're not finding that, we need to test until we find that for you. So I would heavily encourage you, work with your coach. And again, not only are you testing statistical measures, not only are you testing to make sure you get a good cost per click, cost per lead, cost per email, the lead quality needs to be in line with what you're looking for. Otherwise, there's no need to pay for it. And even if it becomes more expensive than it would otherwise be in other areas, it's a cost ratio kind of are you getting what you want? That's important. And even if you're spending a little bit more money to get what you want, that's what you need in my view. So again, book with your coach. Test until you not only find the right statistical measure, but within 24 hours of testing, you should be able to see, hey, are these leads coming in the area I want? Am I getting names, numbers, phone, emails, and then after, a week or so, are these people responsive? Right.
I totally agree with you. And again, it's all about conversions and how you do the follow-up, like Marcus said. Sharon asks, so what is the coach teaching you? Is it included with the budget or extra? So may I answer that? See, I know these answers.
You've been on enough of the masterminds now.
I mean, look, the coaching is free to you, of course, but the coaches are great. They do respond in time to when they have availability, of course, because they're so slammed and busy, but they do look at your ads. All I have to do is I'm driving and I just text Marcus or talk to him by the recording. He taught me how to do that actually. And he says, okay, you know what, this ad is struggling. Let me go ahead and fix it for you. Just as you see, I didn't have to tell him to look at my ad or my account, and he automatically did. That is the benefit of joining with StreetText. That's another great benefit of being a part of such an awesome company, because they actually hold your hand, so to speak. They're just amazing people.
I'd say, I mean, one of the big ones, and Jenky nailed it, when it comes to the budget is obviously included with all that. And you get a lot of other resources. You get people like Jenky, of course, which is important within our insider group, not just your coach. You have other people to lean on. But what we teach you is always going to be different, because it's not like a course where we've curated a bunch of materials and then we're just going to sell you course material and hope for the best, because as you guys know, everything is always changing, especially when you're relying on Facebook, right? I mean, what's true today may be not the same in a week from now. And my job as a coach, Marcus's job as a coach, our job as a platform is to be in the know as to what changes are happening and how we can then help you guys figure it all out. I mean, as easy as you need your own private domain. And I've seen a couple of questions in a different place. Unfortunately, they weren't in the Q&A section, but I think I did see something about, if they have a domain with another company and all this stuff. No, you would need to register your own with us. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One of the biggest ones is people don't understand your domain now will be limited to 8 events. So what happens if you've got that firing in other places? You're now limiting yourself considerably. You're not opening up to the algorithm. So you want to, for when you join StreetText specifically, register your own domain. We're going to pay for that. We're going to show you how to do it. We've created demo videos. We've created everything you need to easily get all this done quickly and simply. And if you can't get it done on your own, we have courses or live classes with either Steve or Troy every single day to make sure that you are up and running. And right now, I believe we're even running a promo. I shouldn't say too much on that, but if you get in and get your own domain set up right now, there's an additional benefit that we're providing, a Zapier connection as well for you.
I love it, because I love those connections as well, because I use Zapier at a very high level in that sense, Logan, and it works like a charm. I mean, I don't even have to touch it. My ISAs just go into our databases and start dialing, and we're seeing conversions. Someone was talking about, how do you convert these? We have a step-by-step process with what we do with StreetText leads as well. But there was a couple of other questions that have come in regarding, so far all my agents are updated with their Apple device for the 14 OS. None of them were asked if they want to continue to be tracked. Okay, so that's just, I guess.
My understanding is they will. They may, as far as we've understood, they haven't flipped the switch for absolutely everybody yet. So if you've updated to the new iOS already, you may not have been posed that question when logging back into Facebook, but you will.
Yeah. And also, guys, 7-day free trial. The link is right there. We've just posted it. Tessa's just posted it as well in the chat group. And like I said, you know what? If you had to go, this is a great webinar for new Facebook algorithms and seller leads. You can always go to our YouTube channel, subscribe there, and you'll get the link to this awesome recording.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, you do phenomenally well with buyer ads with StreetText. You do great with your own, so we're not just seller leads. We're talking about that today with this change, but we do phenomenal buyer ads and listing ads and custom ads with Logan. Logan hosts his own custom ads class. So it's the whole realm of Facebook and Instagram.
Yes.
And then we're, my favorite part, and we didn't get to really discuss it, but it's like what happens when the lead comes in. So converting the lead, right? And I host a lead conversion workshop.
Yes.
Because essentially that's all about the experience you lay out. And so you need to consider that, and it was important to consider that someone was asking, well, what's the other questions you ask? Well, the obvious is, number one, on a seller, we ask for an address. So if I'm going in here and typing in my address right now, that's automatically being inputted and analyzed. Boom, right into our dashboard. And we'll have whole nother meeting about what do you do with address onlys. Yes. But this is where the rubber hits the road. This is the email, right? And they have to give permission to be contacted. And it's the second squeeze aspect of the information, but it's not taking them anywhere. It's just a separate form. They have to click permission to be contacted. And then we start learning more about the property, the condition of the property, the age, updates, renovations, sell date, just curious, refinancing, all that stuff, which oftentimes, surprise, surprise, is just only a defense mechanism. They're not going to tell you the truth until they feel comfortable in that process. And then this is where, like, you know, Janky is, you know, there's her branding, there's a little bit of a tagline, there's her Facebook review there. That activates the SMS component that we have. They can even schedule an appointment. But it's the very minimum, the experience starts and begins the moment they arrive in their inbox. And we'll passionately say this, you can be there face to face.
Exactly. And see, the thing is, I don't have as much as Jennifer Salter would probably have on my Facebook, like the ads, the reviews on my Facebook and all of that good stuff. But yet I'm converting at a very high level. Why is that, right? So everyone does it differently. I have a whole different system. So does Jennifer. I think it would be a great idea, Marcus and Logan, if both Jennifer and I could be here one day and, you know, actually do this. It would be fantastic. What do you guys think?
Awesome. You guys have such great yet opposite follow-up styles, and it's extremely successful with both. So she can take away something from you, you could take something from her, exactly. And then you guys just, you know, in synergy, just make that many more deals.
And, you know, at the same time, we're helping, teaching, educating, you know, everyone that's here to how StreetText really works, right? I mean, what is the benefit of signing up for that 7-day trial? And then what do you do with those leads? There's so many questions people ask.
What do we do next? Know your journey, because you're a journey who's, as a team leader, has the, you know, you're fortunate enough to have ISAs and, you know, different people working for you.
Absolutely.
where Jennifer is a solo agent doing all her own follow-up, having to be her own assistant as well.
Absolutely. Exactly.
So it's going to be naturally a different style of follow-up based on what you have available to you.
Exactly. And I know someone said something about a Facebook jail. Okay, so Jim, so sorry, it's so many things going on in the chat here. He asked, do we have to post ads ourselves? What if I'm in Facebook jail? Can I still place?
Yeah, so when you guys, this is one of the big things that I actually think is a huge benefit, and something that I urge my clients to look out for other places is when you're paying your marketing company for your ad spend, is there a way to make sure that every single penny of that is being spent on your ads and not being siphoned in some way? And I do know that I won't call any companies out by name, but there's certainly companies out there that you'll pay them your ad spend and they'll use 90% or 92% for most of them of your budget. That means they're taking, you know, 8 to 10% of your budget for themselves and you're also paying them fees on top of that. So one of the things that we do is the second you join StreetText, you're going to connect your own Facebook ad account. So the positive of that is that every single penny, you can see it physically being spent, and 100% of it is going directly to your ads and only your ads, and that's it. Right. The downside, I guess, in this case, Jim, unfortunately, would be that would then mean that if you are currently in Facebook jail, then your ad account will currently be disabled as well, most likely, and you're going to need to get yourself out of jail. We've had other people in the past start building new ad accounts, which will just in turn get disabled because Facebook's pretty smart about that now. So figure out why you were in jail, figure out why your ad account was disabled, go through the back channels. And again, through StreetText, we have an extra link, I guess, we can send you that gets you straight to business support, which is a little bit nicer. And you can actually chat with an individual as opposed to sending messages that go back and forth for weeks on end. You get into speak with somebody as soon as possible. They can tell you, hey, this is what you've done. And it can be something as easy as, yeah, he's got your water going. It can be something silly that you posted in the past, right? There's so many things. Facebook, unfortunately, right now, we found them going back through past posts from, 2015, 2016, 2017. If they see anything that's currently not what they want to hear, they may ban your entire account. So you just need to figure out why that happened. And then they'll usually tell you how to fix it. And it could be something as easy as going through maybe old ads that you still have in your ad account that weren't built under the special housing ad category. And even if they're turned off, the fact that they exist in your ad account might be enough to tell Facebook, hey, we need to disable this ad account in case they switch this one on because it's not appropriate. right? So lots of things, again, that you'll meet with your coach. We'll look at things and go, there it is, right? Or I'll say, use this link, talk to them, get that sorted out, and then we will then help you build ads from that point.
All right. And there's Sharon asked a question. Are you taking advantage of Google One Tap?
We're not doing anything other than Facebook and Instagram at this time. There's, anything, there's all sorts of other platforms. I mean, just, Google PPC, there's all sorts of things out there that are highly effective. And I would encourage everybody to look into, of course.
Right.
But what are you trying to accomplish, right? And really one of the things that we do is effective advertising, but cost effectiveness needs to be in there. We're looking more top of funnel as opposed to mid or bottom of funnel. That's more our strategy. So if you are looking for a more bottom of funnel enterprise, so to speak, I wouldn't suggest that we are that. We are the people who are going to find you. A lot of these leads are going to be ready, hopefully sooner rather than later, but they're 3 months, 6 months out, a lot of them, right? So this is, you're bringing them in and you're nurturing them and you're becoming their realtor, not just selling their home.
Exactly. Another question is the system different than Curator? I know it's more cost effective.
Mark, so I don't want to take that one.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it's like there's a lot of great systems out there. I mean, we're known for sellers, but really, I mean, I think we're an entire solution, and we're going to work with your integrations too. Exactly. So whatever systems you already have, CRMs you already have, we'll help you, like HomeBot, BombBomb, all those fun little integrations. We tie it all together because at the end of the day, we want to actually help you both generate and convert those leads. And then most importantly, let them meet you like from the get-go, your personality. If you have an AI, make it customized. If you have an email, make it customized. Pull in your email signature, pull in video. The first 7 days is them getting to know and like you. And so obviously your personal follow-up is going to have a lot to do with that, but your automations need to reflect your personality as well. So you don't want anything ever to be cookie cutter. And so I think we live in a society today where everybody wants this perfect automation and drip email and SMS campaign instead of doing some of the dirty work yourself. But if you're not willing to actually pick up the phone and do some of your own customized approaches, like in personal follow-up, and even surprise, surprise, you found them on Facebook. Shouldn't you actually try to find them on Facebook and connect with them there too, personally?
Absolutely.
And there's only one way to find out what the true difference is to come try it out, right? I mean, that's the idea. Is we do a 7-day trial, which, Marcus and I talk about it every so often, where, we don't mind extending it here and there when we need to, obviously, to make sure that, you guys see what we expect you to be able to see and what you're looking for, of course. But there's no automatic subscription from the trial into our full platform, anything like that. In fact, we don't even take your credit card until you're ready to sign up with StreetText. Now, with that said, you'll need your credit card and attached to your Facebook ad account when you start with StreetText, because you are responsible to pay your own ad spend, even during trial, of course. But that's the idea, is you'll never know until you come and test it and try it. And, within 7 days, we've had the same model for 6 years now, whatever it is. We definitely can show you what you need to see in 7 days, no problem, right? So come do the trial, try it out, and we'll help you from there.
Well, the trial is right there again. The link to the trial is right there below. You guys are awesome as always. I adore the company. I really have learned and grown from the company. So guys, again, 7-day free trial is right there. And if you did miss this or want to see it again, it is on our Facebook. It is on our YouTube channel. Please do go there. Probably 24 hours. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.